Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you live every single weekday. A little bit earlier today. We're normally at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, but we're here live 8 a.m. Central today at the Minnesota Trucking Association for our morning portion of this. We were live last night for an hour. Ton of engagement on that. I appreciate you guys all tuning in for that. You were probably all beveraged out and everything because it was pretty late on a, I don't even know what day of the week it is. It's Wednesday today, so Tuesday night. Before we jump in, as always, you guys, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. Asset reallocation, access to trailers. Everybody needs it in this industry. It doesn't matter if you're a shipper, carrier, or a broker alike. You're going to need a trailer at some point. No owner operator, no small fleet should ever have to shut down their truck because they have a trailer in the shop and lose out on all that revenue. And then brokers, frankly, at the end of the day, how do you separate yourself in the freight market? You need access to trailers. You need to be able to create a drop trailer pool at your customers' facilities. And now you have a seamless option with my friends over at VHub. And now we're not in the studio, so we're going to be a little bit up behind, but here we are. Right now, you guys, with what they have trailers over in Paragould, Arkansas, going up to Orting, Washington, which is just outside of Tacoma. And as you can see, you get paid $15.50 to do that, you guys. So talk about a solid way. And that's revenue on top of the revenue you get by loading out that trailer. They also have it in Glade Spring, Virginia, going over to Orting, Washington. Again, $15.50 to do that. And then they also, all the ones in Ron Burgundy's backyard down there in San Diego going over to Houston are covered, but we have them available going over to Selma, Texas, as well as Laredo, Texas. So again, you guys, hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friends Stacy Steen and Xavier Campos, they're going to be, they might not be in the comments this morning because we're a little bit earlier. Yes, Vitaly, we are live early today for the morning show. And as you can see, I'm not by myself here this morning. I have my friend Kristin at the Minnesota Trucking Association. So Kristin, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Kristin Oftedahl with Rihm Kenworth out of Minnesota. So we're the Kenworth dealership here in the state of Minnesota.
I love it. And then, so we met through Meredith, and like I've been getting in here with the Minnesota Trucking Association. And so you guys, like, you're in it's the next generation in leadership program, right?
Yeah, it's called Next Leaders. And yeah, it's called, thank you.
Yeah.
You can hear me. It's called the Next Leader program. And what the MTA, the Minnesota Trucking Association, does is they work to develop basically the next leaders in the trucking industry here in the state of Minnesota. And it's a lot of coursework. It's about 9 months of different sessions and training and just kind of discovering yourself and your leadership potential. And it's very, very cool. So I graduate tonight from that.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, really exciting.
What's some of your biggest takeaways from a program like that? Because I'm all about the education because it's very specific to the transportation industry, right? So like what does this coursework look like? Because I think when people see leadership courses and everything else, like what does it entail? Is it hands-on from other trucking professionals who are in here teaching about this, or what does that kind of look like?
It's kind of a mix of that, along with we did what's called a DISC profile assessment. And it's basically a personality assessment where you learn a little bit about yourself as a leader and how you communicate and interact with others, which was really cool. I felt like that part of the program was kind of a self-discovery piece for me. And I think the reason why they did that is it's kind of the first step in becoming a leader yourself is to get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And then how you can help others and lead others. So that part was really cool. And then there was a mix of people from the industry and different, like experts in different areas. So it was kind of cool.
What areas? Like, cause I'm always intrigued about this stuff because like I'm one of those individuals that when I'm learning from somebody, it has to be somebody who's walked the path that I'm about to walk down.
Absolutely.
And there's so much value that's in there in listening to people who've built companies from nothing. And then, because that's like what I'm looking to do. Is that kind of what these leaders are? Is they're like, hey, I've been in this role for a very long time, or I've done. Okay.
Yeah. So an example is we learned about effective negotiation techniques from an attorney. So
there we go. Yeah. Fucking attorneys.
Yeah. So it's like you're hearing straight from the source, somebody who is, a known expert in the field. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of cool.
No, I love that. So you're finishing up tonight. Like where does this lead to you in your career? Is it, are you going to see a direct difference in your job, or is this more of like because you guys are involved in the Minnesota Trucking Association. Like, how does this progress anybody who goes through this? Because I think there's probably going to be a lot of people who are in the organization as a whole, as Minnesota Trucking Association. They're on the fence about, like, do I even want to join it? Like, what's it for? How does it help me?
I think, yeah, I mean, I felt like from the very beginning, I started learning and was able to really apply what I was learning
Yeah.
immediately, which
Okay.
is kind of cool because not all programs you feel like I'm going to get something out of it and be able to take it back to work or take it back to your personal life and really apply those lessons that
Yeah.
you learned or those new skills that you acquired. So, part of that, like learning about yourself, I took that back to work and I had my marketing specialist go through the same assessment that I did.
Okay.
And it really helped because I was able to learn about my employee what I learned about myself.
Gotcha.
And so communication technique, just working well together, knowing how I needed to communicate with her in order to be an effective leader.
Yeah.
It was so monumentally,
No,
effective. It was great.
I get it, because I've taken one of those assessment tests, and it's wild what you don't realize that you do because you're yourself. Like, you're so ingrained in your day to day that you don't realize how you communicate with people sometimes, and how that can, like, negatively affect it. And, like, I took one of those assessments, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, like, the thing that I loved about the one that I took is it was like, hey, we're gonna hammer on your strengths. We're not gonna pay attention to your
Yes.
weaknesses, because your weaknesses are your weaknesses. There's no point in putting your efforts to that. But what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to hone in your strengths to effectively use them to where they don't become overbearing in your day to day. And, like, and I was looking at that. I'm like, all right, I need to use this and become a better father and communicating with my son, my wife, most importantly, bless her heart.
It's very important.
Yeah. Need to go through that. But I mean, back to from, like, an overall leadership perspective, it's imperative because everybody retains information differently. Everybody, like, I could say something to you 100 times, it's going to go right over your head, but it's the 101st time from somebody else verbatim, it's going to click with you, because it's the approach. It's how you're, because effective communication, I think if you polled 100 leaders, 100 of them are going to be like, I want to improve my communication.
Yes. Yeah, that is so key. So I think that you hit the nail on the head when you said that, it's important to look at your strengths, right? Because that those are your strengths.
Yeah.
I think most people are kind of aware, especially when it comes to communication, like, I'm good at communicating or I need to work on it, or I'm good at, negotiating or I need to work on it. Or I'm good at educating or I need to work on it.
Yeah.
And then not to forget about your weaknesses, but really just be more aware of them.
Yeah.
So you keep that in the back of your mind, but you don't have to put a ton of focus on it, like you said. And yeah, that's definitely, this leadership program is really teaching just that. So
I love it.
yeah.
You mentioned marketing. You brought it back. So what do you do in your role right now at Kenworth?
Yes.
And because also you got to give a shout out. You guys are the oldest Kenworth dealership.
We're the second oldest in
oldest
the world.
in the world.
It's really
Damn.
great. And we're celebrating our 90th year in business this year.
That's
so
awesome.
2022. Yeah, we started in 1932, and it's just been it's been a fun year because we're celebrating our 90th, and the MTA is actually celebrating their 90th anniversary too. So it's kind of cool. We share that anniversary with them. But yes, I'm the marketing communications manager at Rihm Family Companies, Rihm Kenworth. And I have one other employee who works with me. She's my marketing specialist. And yeah, we do all of the marketing for Rihm, and we have a lot of fun. No day is the same.
Oh, that's the best part about it. So with social media, though, because we were talking about this when we met prior to doing this, and how are you guys leveraging it? And, like, because again, social media is very taboo to a lot of people, because especially in this industry, because it's a very old school industry. A lot of people are like, I'm not going to fucking dance on TikTok. It's like, you don't need to dance on TikTok to do that. But I think social media is one of those things that, I mean, obviously that's how I built my company. That's how I built my brand. That's how I built everything, is through social media. And I've literally invested $0 into marketing.
That's great.
Well, I can't say zero, because obviously I've upgraded a lot of the stuff that I've gotten, but all you need is this right here. This is all you need, is your cell phone to start. So, like, how are you guys leveraging your social media in whether it's for your client base or growing your guys' brand out there in the market against other dealerships?
I would say just being able to produce content regularly is key. I think consistency, not just in your brand, but in your messaging. So making sure that you have really defined who you are. And that can be everything from culture to, like, fonts and colors. And I think that's really important because when you have consistency in your brand, people will start to kind of recognize that and connect the dots. Like, oh, that's Rihm. I recognize the Rihm family name. I recognize those colors. I know that it's Kenworth. And that's really important on social media.
Yeah.
And then the consistency, just posting on a regular basis. We use a scheduler at Rihm. So we're able to schedule all of our social media posts in advance.
Who do you guys use?
Hootsuite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to look into that because I literally need that. I need one.
And yeah, we don't pay anything for it. It's a free.
Okay. I love free.
Platform.
Free is always a great price.
It's always great, right? Yeah. So that works well because even, on holidays and things like that, we're able to schedule in advance. So, 4th of July, we had those ready to go. Labor Day, we already have stuff scheduled all the way through September. So that helps. That helps from like an effective standpoint, make sure that you're actually getting things out there in an effective way. And for us, it's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
So we're able to be effective in an efficient way. And so that's kind of the ideal thing with social media.
Hootsuite just laid off 30% of the work. So what Vitaly's saying is they're going to have a fee here soon.
No. Oh my gosh, that is too funny.
That's funny.
I mean, it's not funny.
I know. I got you. But the ironic timing of it.
Oh my God, that is ironic.
Hit up Rihm Kenworth here, Lewis. His W900L is his next rig. Holla at you, boy.
Oh.
He was over in South Dakota, man. Come over, swing through Minneapolis. They have where's your guys' facility? I mean, was it in South St. Paul?
Yeah, well, we have 7 dealerships across the state of Minnesota and 1 in Wisconsin, and then our bigger ones, our headquarters are South St. Paul.
Okay.
And then Coon Rapids, which is just north of the Twin Cities. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know we could keep going here. I feel like we could go for a few more minutes, but we're on a little. See, this is it's a learning experience for me, you guys, on being on somebody else's schedule. Is I got to hold to it. So, Kristin, thank you so much for joining me. How can anybody find you and Rihm Kenworth out there on social
go to our
media?
website if you want to, rihmkenworth.com. You can find all of our social media links on there. Otherwise, if you just go to any social network and it's just /Rihm Kenworth, and Rihm is spelled RIHM.
Perfect. So. And I'm going to be posting some pictures because they have some of their trucks out here back. Yes. So I'm going to be taking some pictures of those today and putting it out there. So, Kristin, thank you so much. Todd Waldron's in the audience live over here. He's actually a few rows back, but he's out here.
Hi, Todd.
All right, I got one more guest, and we're gonna talk about social media. Cold calling. This guy is electric. I know we're gonna need to talk more than 15 minutes. So, Kristin, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you, Chris.
We'll see you around, and congratulations on graduating tonight.
Oh, thank you. Love it.
All righty. We got Anthony. He's coming up here. He's booking freight too. I guaranteed he's booking freight. Donald Hatt, good morning. Stephen Peterson, good morning. Just giving some shout outs out here. B Logics, LLC, good morning. Jesse Carson, good morning. All right.
Are we going headphones? No headphones?
No, man, we're already live, dude.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we're
awesome. Good
Anthony,
morning, everybody.
This is Anthony, you guys. I want to introduce yourself, who you're working for.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Anthony Book. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at a company out of Minnesota named Long Haul Trucking, an employee-owned company. We about 350 trucks strong, and we do some 3PL as well. And yeah, just a great company to be a part of.
We got to get right into cold calling, man, because when we first met, dude, we talked for we had we almost talked for an hour straight about this. So how did you get your start in this industry? In like what keeps you coming back, man?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that first got me interested in transportation, outside from being an awesome industry that's so vital to our country's economy, is the fact that it's a relationship business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I've always really enjoyed relationships with people for my entire life, building friendships, getting to know different individuals everywhere I go. And so I'll never forget my first manager telling me that one of the biggest things that I can do to be successful in my career is to build relationships with clients.
Yeah.
And I was just like, say less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, absolutely.
Please, let's do that.
And I think Vitaly, he's a buddy of mine. Don't DM him, you guys, for the love of God. But he said, my favorite topic. We chat a lot about it because, cold calling in the sales process is something that a lot of people, I think, are, I don't want to say they're missing the mark on, but like they become very generic in their own right. But it's like, I know for a fact that the way that I operate, and even hell, who I am as a person, I'm not for everybody. And I know that,
Totally.
but it's about identifying that. And it's not going in and putting anybody on, like, I call it like this, man, you can't put your prospects on a pedestal, because in my, like, we don't know how their operations work. And because to me, it's like, throughout all of my experience, there's like a runway, because once you activate a customer, then you get out there, and then you got to identify through the first 20 to 25 shipments, like, hey, is this actually going to be a fit?
Right.
And that's why when I tell people, cold calling's the easy part, selling's the easy part, because the execution piece, that's when the real work will always start, because you're going to have to learn the ins and outs of these operations, because everything sounds great on paper.
Yep.
Just like all those bullshit emails you guys send out about saving them 20%, which, for the love of God, you guys got to stop doing that. So, like, what's your approach to that, man? How do you attack a cold call from, like, let's talk about the research of it. How are you researching your prospects before you even reach out to them?
So I look at it as hunters and gatherers, right? So the sales, that's the hunt. That's the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
You spend your time kind of learning about your prey, understanding your prospective client. It's so vital to take the time to actually try to learn about their industry. Where can you add value for them? Maybe even try to get some insight on how their operation is ran and where are their manufacturing plants, right? What's coming out of there? Do we have the capacity why waste your time calling somebody if, to your point, you're not going to add value to them? Because then all you're going to do is create somebody that feels like you sold them a bad bag of goods.
Yeah.
But if you can call and say, hey, I can demonstrate value for you in a couple different ways, right? I can help you out of this main plant here, or you can tell me a little bit more about what you're currently struggling with, and I can try to help you there too. But there's no sense in that first call trying to sell somebody on something you can't do, right?
I think it's as simple as this. You need to, the first 3 points of contact with a prospect at the end of the day, it's going to be short, it's going to be quick, it's going to be 15 seconds. My mentality is, I just need them to remember Chris Jolly. That's it. That's my thing. I need them to remember my name, because I know on the 4th point of contact, or the 5th, or even the 6th, that's when an actual conversation about their book, a bit how they operate, is going to take place. Because it takes a lot of effort. It's because, to me, so many people go into it and they're like, I need all your freight. And I guarantee you, if a shipper for some odd reason said, here's 100 shipments I need picked up on Thursday, you're going to fail on all of them.
You're going to look bad.
Exactly. So it's like, you need to go in there with a 1 truckload at a mentality time, because you need to learn their operation. You cannot go in there and solve all their problems. And frankly, you're indirectly insulting them by insinuating that they have issues.
It's important to earn the business, right? And so, to your point, if we were to scale it back, step 1, just getting the right person on the phone. Step 2 is hopefully earning that 2nd point of contact by getting an email address. And what I honestly like to do is I try to very respectfully, through conversation, keep them on the phone with me while I send that email, just to make sure it got through. Because the last thing you want to do is think that you got the email right and you send it and then it bounces back, and I have to call back and get the same person on the phone again and then say, hey, I typed your email in wrong, I'm so sorry about that, right? But so you get that email out there, flag it. Don't be a pest, but flag that email. Follow up on that email. Hey, give them another quick call. And then, have your company be ready to be sold. Have your literature dialed. Don't have a bunch of outdated stuff on who your company was 5 years ago. Nobody cares about that. Talk to them about who your company is today. What exactly are you guys doing? What's your strong freight lanes? Prepare a PDF with all of the documents that they're going to need anyways. Your W-9, your operating authority, all of the things that they're going to ask you for, have it ready.
Exactly.
Have it all compressed into a file that you can send to them, along with some more information about who your company is that actually helps sell the brand that you're promoting, but take away some of the tedious things. Just act like you've been there before. You know what I mean?
I mean, and that's exactly it. And you don't need to be in this industry for a very long time to be prepared. And I think that that's another thing. And also, as Vitaly says, don't be creepy. Very, very true. But again, it's like, I'm right there with you, man. I want to go in there because at the end of the day, I know I've messed up enough in this industry to know that I need to see if the way that I operate fits with the way that they operate. And then when you go in there with that mentality of, hey, I'm here to save your life, like, you're not. And it's like, you build up that resistance right away, because again, I think people need to understand what the definition of prospecting is. Like, I'm there to explore. I'm there to find out about information about how this transaction is going to go down.
Yep.
Because there's every shipper's different. Every facility that you're going to go into is different, and you need to find which ones are going to align with you, because not all business is good business. Because if you can't execute upon that, you're building up resistance with them from day one. And then what if they leave and go to another company, and then you cold call that company, and guess what? Hey, I remember you from 5 years ago. You were terrible at your job. You're out. We're not working with you.
Yeah. No, it's so true. Last thing you want to do is build a bad reputation for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's a small world in this world of transportation and shippers, and it's important to make sure that you, first of all, be respectful.
Yeah.
Don't be pushy. Don't be creepy.
Yeah.
and realize that although today may not be the opportunity, persistence is key.
Yes.
And making sure that in a very appropriate way, you're just demonstrating that you have a real desire to try to add some value to their job.
Yeah. No, I agree, man, because it's all about the follow-up.
Yeah.
It's all about the follow-up. Don't get discouraged when you don't get them on the phone or they don't reply to your email and everything else, because to me, like, I'm all about leveraging social media. I'm all about leveraging other forms of communication. But at the end of the day, I want to get them on the phone, or I want to get in front of them.
Yep.
I want to talk to them face to face if I can do that. If they're a local customer, or, if I'm out on the road traveling and I can stop by somewhere, I just want to meet, because, like, I want that feel.
Yeah.
I want that feel for how they are, because, again, everybody communicates differently. Everybody has a preferred, like, I had one of my largest customers. The shipping manager would literally text me, hey, I need this today, at like random times. There was no rhyme or reason about it. He was like, don't call me, because he was out there loading equipment. He's like, don't call me, don't email. He's like, I'll text you, I'll do this. And again, it's identifying all of that, and you're not going to figure that out in a 15-second phone call.
No,
because the real value, like, at the end of the day, having access to trucks, table stakes.
Yep.
All right. Having a truck show up on time, no value there. That's your job.
Yep.
The value is identifying, how do I make their life easier without saying, what's your biggest pain point? It's listening to how they operate, how they communicate with you. And again, this isn't going to happen on phone calls 1 through 4. This is going to happen 5 to 8.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is going to be over the course of 3 to 6 months.
Yep.
By the time you can finally talk about getting set up and activated with them.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, one of my favorite parts of my job is that some of my clients, which I'm fortunate to have, offer us freight and
who are that? No,
keep our drivers busy. Yeah, right. They're people that are really good friends. They're people that I start every single morning still.
Yeah.
Even whatever the sales part of it, it's now they're a core account for us. But every morning just give them a call, say how you doing, and that's another.
Have no expectations though with it. Like, just reach out and build.
Oh yeah, we don't even talk business.
Yeah,
we just how are you?
Exactly.
Kids? How's your family? What did you go fishing this weekend? Honest with them. That's, to me, paramount.
Yeah, and as Vitaly says here, and I know we're going to start wrapping up here a little bit, but he'd also point out quite often that if you don't get a response to a message, email, or voicemail, it's because your approach wasn't great. First impressions are important. Jim Fernelli, all this talk about prospecting, getting him fired up on a Wednesday morning. Let's go, baby. Nathan Frazier, every customer is not for every broker. Correct prospecting brings people to you, relationships, business. I don't even talk freight. It'll come up when the time is right. Amen to that, man.
That's so true.
And hey, we're going to have to start wrapping up here because the show is about to start. And how does anybody reach out to you, man? I'm going to have him back on because I want to do more of a in-depth conversation with you about building your book of business, prospecting, what you guys are doing and everything else, man.
Yeah.
Because, it's always tough to be able to be like, hey, we got 15 minutes to rock this out.
I get it. Absolutely.
So how can anybody connect with you and your company on social media or get in contact with
so
you?
we're on the 4 major ones, right? We're on Twitter, or I guess there 5 now. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Long Haul Trucking. Go give us a like, give us a follow. One of the best parts about our company are the people that are out there doing the work for us, the drivers. And we've got some of the most beautiful trucks in the United States of America, driven by the very best. So if you guys have any desire to check out some really great looking trucks, especially go smash the like on our Instagram and TikTok. And then if you go to our website, longhaultrucking.com, my name is Anthony Book. All of my contact info is very accessible right there on our contacts page.
That's fantastic. Well, that's it for today, guys. We're ending 5 minutes earlier than normal. I know we normally go 30 minutes, but you know what? I appreciate all your guys' support. If you guys see value in the show, share the show. All right. This is how this has all grown over these past couple of years. This is how I went from my bedroom to doing live in-person interviews here at a conference. It's just by you guys liking and sharing it, and that support that you guys all show me day in and day out, week in and week out. I appreciate you guys all so much, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Normal time, though, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, the Freight Coach Morning Show, which is the top morning show in transportation. I appreciate you guys all